Hello and welcome. Welcome to today's session, today's workshop. It's interactive and you can ask questions at any time. Then we're going to cover our brand new Guides Hub that we're just launching, so officially launching today. So, oh, fantastic. Yes, you can see us. Brilliant. So I'd like to introduce ourselves. I'm Jackie and I'm the founder of If Everyone Cares CIC, which has built and runs aDoddle.org community mapping, which we view as the missing link to helping people to find the amazing organizations that you run, that you volunteer for, that you work for, those organizations that provide vital help that is even more needed at this point in time when we're going through the cost of living crisis. I think we all thought that the pandemic was one thing, but this coming on the back of it is causing many problems for many people. So because we saw the use of the maps going up and we were getting more people sending us messages, how to do this or how could they do that, we thought that we'd create a guides hub that would actually walk people through, and we're going to slowly build it more and more, and we'll add some videos to it as well to help. But today is about introducing you to that guides hub. If you've got any feedback about anything, please do give it to us. Either now, you can raise your hand and you can come up on stage and you can speak to us, and we're happy to hear it, or you can send us an email and Amber will pop the email address for hello@aDoddle.org in the chat. There's also a link to the Guides Hub in the chat so that you can go and have a look. Now, yesterday my internet was playing up a bit, so I have opened up different pages already so that in case my internet's a bit spotty, we've still got something that I can share with you. So when you're in aDoddle, now I'm presuming that most of you watching have already got an account in aDoddle. If not, you can use it's guides-hub.aDoddle.org, and it will be in the chat here, but I'll also put it at the end of this workshop when I upload it. So if not, we'll show you where the guide is so that you can create a free account. So that's not a problem. But you will find the link to the Guides Hub in your aDoddle here. Now, we noticed something just now that for some reason it's not showing there. But if I click on Project Dashboard and now click here, it's just here, Guides Hub. And if you click on that, it will take you to the Guides Hub. So this is the main Guides Hub page. You can search it at the top. So if there's something specific you're looking for, you can type in at the top here the word and it will show you any results of anything. But I'm going to show you around a little bit first. This is growing and will be growing all of the time. So we've got a basic introduction to aDoddle, creating and managing your account, your profile dashboard explained, and list some favorites. So I'm going to show you around. I'm already in these pages. So this is the introduction to aDoddle community mapping. And if you don't know anything about who we are, why we do this, or whatever else, all of those questions can be answered here. Find out about community mapping and the benefits it can have within the community. You can just scroll through, or if there's a subject that you like the look of, you can literally click in the left-hand side. So if I go facts and figures to think about, it will take you directly to there. So for example, did you know that disconnected communities are said to cost the UK £32 billion a year? Did you also know that the cost of poverty is said to cost £78 billion a year? Now that figure of the 78 billion was done in a report by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, and the disconnected communities was done in a report by Eden Project Communities. There are over 150,000 charities across the UK and even more community groups and organisations. Yet if you don't know where they are, how do you find them? There are increased levels of suicide, loneliness, food poverty, isolation and debt. So the map is there for that. I won't go into any more because I'm not really here to sell you the reason for community mapping, but more about the Guides Hub and how you use it. Let's go to creating and managing your account. These pages, and actually Amber, if I put this, I'm going to put this in the chat a second so that everybody's got it. Oh, hi, Carol, as well. I can see that you've joined us. If I put this in the chat here, there you are. If you haven't already got an account on aDoddle, that's the link that will take you to this guide telling you how you can do it and showing you literally step by step. Let me show you one of these guides here and hope my internet's going. So it comes in, and again, at the top of each of these pages, it will tell you each of the sections. So start here. So it shows you that you're on the aDoddle website and where you go to, and it will talk you through, it will show you all of the screens you will see and tell you where to click, what needs to go into them, into each section, and exactly how you can set up your own account. And this is how we've done it for all of the guides going across. And if ever there's anything that doesn't make sense or you think we could word better, feel free to send us an email. We are totally happy to hear your feedback. That's how we'll make this even better. Now, I'm going to just go down to the bottom of this page, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that are in here. So at the bottom of each guide, you will see that there are links to other things that you might like to view. So resetting your past work, our commitment to accessibility, and lists and favorites, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I will go into this one in more detail, but we're committed to accessibility. You can also come down to the bottom of every page and you will have a get in touch button if you want to send us an email. So if there's any feedback, you can do that from every guide page that you're in. So let's go to on the other page, your profile dashboard explained. When you've got a profile on the map, which I'm just going to make the assumption for today that that's why you're here or that you're thinking about putting one on, you have a dashboard that will show that for every single profile that allows you to do a host of different things. And each one of these sections here will give you a guide. It will show you how to get to that one, how you locate it, where it is. It will show you, so if you've got multiple projects, you will see one of these purple boxes here will show you the name of the profile that you've got. We've just got it blanked out for privacy's sake at the moment. And you can click on any one of these and click view or edit, and that gets you into your dashboard. So this now talks you through we're in a profile dashboard. This shows you what it's like. So if you can see down the left-hand side, it says dashboard, the essentials, your story. This is all of these, and all of the guides to each of the sections are down the left-hand side here. So you can jump to any of them. So if you're suddenly thinking you want to add a PDF because you've just had some meetings from a minute, or you want to add a picture for a new leaflet, or you've got some new photographs to share, you would just go to media down the side and it will open up media for you. It will tell you about it, and it will tell you how you can do all of the things for adding your logo in, adding photographs in, adding documents, which are PDFs, so that people can see those. So for example, we've got a flood valley, a flood forum, and they want to be able to let the people in the community know exactly what they're doing and they're working on. So they asked us, well, we'd like to put a PDF up. So we did it. So if there's some way you think we can improve this, please do let us know. I'm going to, if you've got any questions, please raise your hand, put it in the chat. I'll answer them here and there. It is such a simple, maybe I'm being blasé about it. Everything has been done based on taking you click by click through how you can make the most of your profiles. Profile User Manager is a really important one here. Say you've set up a profile for an organization, but you don't have the time to be the person who keeps it updated. You still want to have the ownership and the control over it, but you want to let a team member or a volunteer have access as well. You can actually do that. And this whole section will tell you how you can do it. It tells you about the user manager and sharing permissions, because you can share You could share just the essentials section, just the your story. You choose which sections you will allow another team member to have access to. And you can remove that access at any stage. You can give them more access. The one page we recommend you don't give people access to is the page that allows them to delete the profile. Because once it's deleted, we can't get it back for you, unfortunately. But you have full ability to do all of those things with it, and they're all set out in the same way. So you've got this, you've got the numbers. You can get to here from the left hand side or at the top. So add invite team members. That will bring you down. It will show you what the screen will look like, and it will talk you through what you need to do. It really is as simple as that. I'm going to pop over to lists and favorites now, because I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize we have the ability to do with aDoddle. And what it's we were talking to Eve just now before we came on in the virtual lounge before we started, and what you can do is sometimes you might have clients or people you're supporting who don't have access to the internet, but they could do with knowing what's available. And what you can do is you can actually create a list of favorites. You can create as many of those lists as you want. You can keep them private. You can share the link with other people so that they can see your link. And we're soon going to be launching a page where you can share that list with other people who will come to aDoddle as well. We're just trying to work out exactly how we do that and what that looks like at the moment. So let's go here. So locating your lists and favorites. This gives you a little bit of information about it. Too much writing, but you will see that everything is in sort of picture and bullet point format once you've got through that. So you've got lists and favorites. You would click in there. And then this tells you what that looks like. So you've got, you can find projects. So say some organizations may have 40 or 50 projects logged under their account. And if they want to find one of them, they can click here and it will allow them to search for it rather than going page after page. The number of projects that you have, how many you've been assigned to. So that's if you've been given permissions to look after projects, and how many lists you've got. So actually, I wonder if it's just easier if I come through and show you how I would make a list. So I'm going to come here and actually I'm going to type in Plymouth. So Plymouth here, and the guide will talk you through all of this. I'm now going to put on a radius of 10 miles here. And actually for this one, I want to see it in list view. Now remember, to create a list, you do have to be signed in to your account. Okay, so I'm going to go list view, and now I'm going to do it instead of by distance, I'm going to do last updated. So when were these last updated? Now this guide will talk you through every step of this. Can you see that at the top in the right hand corner of each of these, there's a little heart? So if I go, I'm going to add a filter. I think I'm going to add food banks onto it. Let's see what we get. So let me come down here, food aid. I'm going to add this filter in. I'm going to click update filters. And we have now got, these must have all chosen food bank as one of their categories in it. So let's go to this one, 4 greens. Click there, and it says, what list would I like to add it to? Or would I like to create another list? So I'm going to create another list. I'm going to call it Plymouth Food Aid. You can tell I'm dyslexic. I'm needing to look down here. I choose what type of list it is, and I'm going to make it public so that you can share it with anybody. And I'm so slow at my typing. Organizations. And I might have got spelling wrong. So I'm going to create a list. Now let's come back here, go there, add to list, Plymouth Food Aid, add. Can you see at the top now, this one has now gone purple, this heart, very quickly you can see what organizations are already on a list. So add to list, I do that again, Plymouth Food Aid, add. It is as easy as that. Let's go here. Oh, so this time I've gone to have a look at the profile. So I'm now in the profile for this one. So up at the top here, I can go add to list and choose which list I want it to go on. And you can just keep doing that. So let me go back to my account. So to get to my account, we always hide the aDoddle header. I don't know if you've noticed that. Once you've started to look for profiles and projects and organizations, we actually hide the aDoddle header because we think it's more about the organizations than us. So you unhide that. You then come down here, lists and favorites, and I can see this Plymouth Food Aid one here. So if I open that one now, so you've got those three there. Now you've got a couple of options here. Did you know you can print the lists? You can edit it and you can delete it. But if I go print here, that opens it up and it creates a PDF for you. So you can print that out. Now, we know that it's not quite good enough yet. Let me be very honest. There might be other information that you think could be on this list. Please do let us know, because if we can make this better and have more of the information that the people that you help and support have on it, please do let us know. But can you see how handy that might be if you've got a client, if you've got somebody you're supporting who just wants information about a few organizations? You can literally go to them, create a list of the ones you want to share. You can have preset that list up if you want to, and you can go to print. You can print that out, or you can send it as an email, as a PDF, so it doesn't have to be printed. But this is what the guides do. They talk you through how you can do it. Now, I said this would be 45 minutes, as well as sort of asking questions and everything else, and we've only been not even 20 yet. But have you got any questions, or are there any particular elements of the Guides Hub that you would like to have a look at that I can show? So please feel free if you want to come up on the stage and join us. Now, Amber, you've got the main controls. Can you remember which bit people go to so they can stick their hand up?
I think there should be an option along the bottom. I've got a different screen to how you guys would, but down the bottom there should be a raise hand little button. I think it's shaped like a hand, you know. And if not, I can invite people up from my controls if someone would like to let us know.
So if you said, that was very good that I used Four Greens community as one of the examples there. Thank you. I've just noticed that. So it's great for signposting people living in a specific area across the city. Yes, it is. It's really good. And the fact that you can put the radius on it as well, so you can actually bring it down to maybe within, yes, it starts at a 5-mile radius. There isn't a smaller one than that, but it can actually help you to do that. So if you put the starting point of maybe where the person lives, and again, that doesn't get shown on anything you print or save, but if you put the starting point of where they live and then do the radius out from there, then you're getting the ones that are closest to them, rather than doing the starting point from, say, the centre of Plymouth, because they might live out on the outskirts. And it gives them those ones. You can also then choose ones if you know that for example, that there's a certain one that wouldn't support them because they don't quite meet that criteria. You can make sure that that's not in the list, because there is nothing worse for people than to think they found somewhere that they can get help and support from, to only discover when they get in contact that they can't. It's the reason we have the traffic light system. So I don't know if you can see this here. Each of these has a traffic light. And so this will show, so even if you've created lists before, on this list, it will show you which ones are green and amber. So if some have gone, so green means it's been updated in the last 6 months by the organisation. Amber means it's 6 to 12 months, and red means it's over 12 months. Now, just because an organisation is amber or red doesn't mean they're not still working and doing those things. It might mean that a member of their team who used to look after the profile is no longer volunteering there or something like that, and they've lost that connection with getting it updated. But it does give those looking for help and support an element of, if it's green, they can trust it more. It's more reliable. If it's amber, then it might be, it might not. You've already managed their expectations before they've clicked on it. It was just a big piece of feedback that we had. So, Carol, have you got any questions? So you said that you're working as a volunteer in Birmingham. Have you got any questions? And Eve, have you got any from seeing the Guides Hub?
Yeah, I've got a raised hand. Hold on, let me just invite Eve up quickly.
Fab. Thank you.
Okay, she should be coming up to stage.
Okay. So is my microphone on?
Yours is. Yes, fantastic. We can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. So I have a question that at the moment we have a food bank and a community larder, and
Yes.
we have one profile on the map, which when you go into it will tell you that there's a food bank and a larder, whereas a neighbouring food bank has a similar arrangement, but they have it labelled as two different profiles. What do you think would work best? From kind of what people click on, what are they looking for? What would be best for us?
Having one for each is my recommendation, but obviously that means you've got two to manage. So I do understand that.
Yeah.
If your information stays fairly the same, then actually that's not a lot of work. So you'll have seen that you get your email every 6 months just reminding you to update. And as long as nothing's changed, all you need to do is go in, click that save button once somewhere, and it resets your traffic light to green for the next 6 months.
That's helpful.
So that is all the updating is. If you had two organisations that were changing week on week or every month, and there was a lot of information to do, I would say think about what the status is with volunteers and with the team and what time you've got. So consider that and take all of those things into account, because it's very much, we understand that we are a very different mapping platform because we ask organisations to create their own profiles. We do that because many people over the last 10 years have tried to do mapping, and they've employed people to add those profiles, and then they run out of funding, and then that mapping platform goes totally out of date and is of no use to anybody after 12 to 18 months because everything is out of date. We did ours based on the fact that if every organization created their own profile and told the story of who they helped, how they helped, the difference they make, and the help they needed, that your organization better than anybody else. You can put it in better words as to who you help. A total stranger, a member of our team couldn't do that. So I think it's about thinking about how much time have you got? How much time would it take to keep it updated? There's the initial time in creating it, but the more doorways in, what we hear from people who are seeking help, the more doorways into help, there's more chance that they can find it. So somebody might think that they don't want to approach a food bank, but they might be willing to go to a community larder. So we never know what stops people from going and not. Does that make sense?
That really is helpful. Thank you. It does.
We get a lot of feedback, and when the cost of living crisis sort of started and there was all the worry about the heating and everything, so sort of September, October, November last year, and on the television to start with, they were calling them warm banks. Oh, the feedback that we got really quickly from people was, I won't go to a warm bank. I'm not going to go to a warm bank. That means I'm needy. That means I'm not coping, and I'm not this, that, and the other. And I'm people were feeling like it made them a lesser person within society, just that terminology. So I don't know if you've noticed, we call them warm spaces, welcome places. And we did that with a group of people and got some feedback because they said, oh, well, it's a warm space, welcome place. And then they suddenly thought, oh, well, maybe I can go and volunteer there. I'm staying warm, I'm having connection, I'm reducing my isolation, but I'm helping as well. And they felt welcome to even offer that they could help. Does that make sense as well? So that wording is vital. The wording that we use on funding bids is one thing, but the wording that we use for the people in the community that we want to support is something totally different. I hope that, helps as well. Are there any questions? I could show you around a bit more, but the whole of the Guides Hub is all in the same format. We've tried to keep it really easy, click by click. So part of my history is, show my age. When laptops were very first introduced, I was an IT tutor within communities, and I used to take laptops out into rural areas in Devon, and teach play workers, and I would leave them with the laptop after the first day of training for 6 weeks, and I would have to support them. But I created something called a click-by-click guide to walk them through before I gave them their exam, their CLATE, Computer Literacy and Information Technology exam, at the end of the 6 weeks. And it was before you had helplines and things like that. So we've built this all based on taking it right back to the bare bones of people, not making an assumption that people knew how to do things. And I hope that's what we've managed to achieve. So we can now jump out and go back out to the virtual lounge and jump onto a table for any questions that you can ask sort of face to face if you want to. Or if you've got questions here that you think that would be helpful for other people watching this video later on, please do ask them. The choice is yours, because I know how precious your time is, and we're not even half an hour, but I don't want to take up more of your time just filling the space if you've got what you need. So
while we wait for any questions, Jackie, is it worth just maybe giving them a quick look at the new service and accessibility tags that we've added? I know that you mentioned it to Eve before we came in.
Yeah. Let's go into, I'm going to have to, oh, hang on a minute, will I? Yes, it is. I'm just trying to think on this one, which profile I can go in to show, because I'm on not my master account. So let's go and see. Have I got a test profile in this account? I have. There you are. Let's go to this one. Let's go to edit. One of the things that we heard with the cost of living crisis was the fact that many people that are struggling and they're having to make that choice between heat or food. However, there was something else that hasn't really been being talked about on the news, and that is they've had to give up their internet access. They might have had to have given up their phones. They may have a phone, but they may have no data allowance on it. And so because they haven't got that connection to the internet, no free Wi-Fi, they can't find the organizations where they might be able to get help and support. And so we got this quite early on. And so our amazing tech volunteer, Pete, has added something to it. And I have to remember where I need to go to. It is in...
It's in Essentials.
It's in Essentials.
Yeah.
Right. It's so new. I'm there thinking, where am I going? So in the Essentials here, and this is where you choose your categories and you put the name of your project and choose what type of project it is. Down at the bottom, as well as having had the categories, you now have things like, does your venue have accessible toilets? Is there parking? Is it wheelchair accessible? Is there free Wi-Fi? Because actually, if you put that sort of information on there, it may help encourage people. I had to go to a venue the other day, and I was waiting outside because all the doors were locked and everything else. And this woman came along, and she said, "Well, how do I get in?" And I said, "I'm not sure. I'm sort of waiting a bit myself at the moment." She said, "Well, it says it's a free drop-in centre." And this is at 3:00 in the afternoon, and she had seen that, I don't know where she'd seen it. It wasn't on aDoddle. She had seen that there was a free drop-in centre, and she had walked down, and she was of a reasonable age. She had walked down because she thought she was going to be able to connect with other people, and it was closed. There wasn't anywhere for her to go. And the look on her face, you could see the effort she had made. But all it had said on wherever she'd seen it, on a poster, I think it was, she said, it had said free drop-in centre. So she'd assumed it would be open at 3:00 in an afternoon. But anyway, so all of these things, changing facilities, child-friendly, computer access, that's a vital one if people haven't got access to the internet. Food available, hot drinks. And again, there might be other tags there. If you think of something, please let us know. But we've added that on again because of it. So do take a look around the Guides Hub. As I said earlier, we noticed we've added the link to the Guides Hub here. Hopefully by Monday morning, because I'm not sure what Pete's rest of the day and that is. You will get that if you're on the home page as well. We noticed there was a slight disconnect. It isn't showing up on these pages. It's only showing up when you're in your project dashboard or in the search. So I apologize for that, but we have put the link to the Guides Hub in the chat, and for a replay of this, we will add it there as well for you. But what we'll do now is say, thank you so, Amber, thank you for adding that. Actually, I forgot to introduce Amber at the beginning. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Amber, do you want to quickly introduce yourself right at the end before we go to the tables?
Okay, yeah, sure. Thanks, Jackie. So yes, I'm Amber. I work with Jackie and aDoddle as admin support. God, I started my journey with aDoddle in June 2021 as a Kickstart apprentice. And then my role kind of developed into what it is now, supporting Jackie on a day-to-day basis. It's admin tasks, emails, weekly planning, processes, all the general everyday running of aDoddle. And I've been watching Jackie kind of put these guys together, working to make aDoddle accessible for all and helping out where I can. So it's really great to kind of join you in this launch of it, finally.
Amber's been doing the proofreading because I'm dyslexic and I could put words the wrong way around. My punctuation's not brilliant. So I'm going to say thank you so much for joining us today. Amber and myself will jump back out to the virtual tables. So we'll close this part down and we'll jump out to the virtual tables. If you've got any questions, please do come and join us on a table or send us an email. Amber, did the email address go into the chat?
It did. I will just add it again though, so it's at the bottom and everyone can see it.
That's there. Thank you for joining us today. We are really grateful, and any feedback about any of what we do, we really do listen. Every single element's been built based on feedback from people. And if it's something that will benefit others, then we will do our best to implement it. So thank you ever so much for joining us today, from myself and from Amber. And I hope the rest of your day is really good and that you have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye.
Bye.